here we are. We are back sober in the States, here to recap the Major League Soccer weekend. Look, the gang's all here. Alex, he's a La Liga expert now as the MLS season winds down, and Chris, the MLS card guy, is here to bring all the knowledge on this table because guess what? The playoff race is tight. There are only like 3 or 4 games left to go, and some teams are slipping when it matters, and other teams are getting hot at the right time. I'm looking at you, Montreal. These are getting a little weird, and I guess we'll talk about it, but DC United on the way down, and we won't even talk about the Midwest because it is getting rough out there.
I don't know,
Hey.
down. You get a draw against Columbus, I think you take that, you know?
Well, that's true. After they got defeated in the midweek for a trophy, a lot of teams didn't win trophies this midweek, huh, Alex?
Yeah, it's not just us.
But yours was the trophy that mattered, so.
That is true. Hey,
if only you were playing a USL team, then maybe you could have won that.
Yeah, if y'all would have won, we would have faced y'all at some point. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Hey, but there is a CONCACAF champion. You are going to CONCACAF Champions League. That is a huge, I guess, positive. I don't know who's going to play in that Champions League.
You have a half a player on your team, and now you're going to have depth problems for the entire first 3 months of the season. So,
but hey, we're going to get into the weekend. We're going to look at all these games. We're going to see what happened. We're going to see the players that, hey, maybe things are cheap. Maybe you should pick them up for the last little stretch of games. I do want to shout out Bob Flynn in the chat. Good evening. It's always a good time when Bob Flynn is here and Red or Dead in here as well. And I do want to have a quick shout out to Mike Basson, who says, howdy, mate. Sorry I haven't been around the past week and hopes we're well. He's been having a needed break for his birthday. You know what? You enjoy that, Mike Basson. You are keeping these chats alive every day, everywhere on the YouTubes, in the Sorare streets. And hey, we'll be happy to have you back when you are back, but enjoy your time. And I'm sure everybody else wishes you a happy birthday too.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, that's right. These things wouldn't happen without Mike Baston. Mike Baston is the something that keeps it alive. I don't know where I was going with it, but anyway, gentlemen,
the glue that holds us all together.
There it is.
There we go.
Act like we've been here before. We haven't missed a few streams. Apologies to anybody who has been looking for our streams, and it's been a little bit inconsistent. Look, things have been a little rough. Times just haven't been.
It's been hurricanes, you know,
hurricanes, just all this nonsense, all the shenanigans as we do on this show. But hey, we're back now. We're gonna look at the weekend, gentlemen. I'll take it to Alex first. I need to hear from Alex. Alex, what's one of the things that you saw this weekend? What do you want to get into? What stood out to you the most?
From the main game that I watched, I thought Seattle looked really good, although they didn't play that good of a team. Houston away from home is usually not that great, but that was like the main game that I watched because there's a pretty big college football game on. But yeah, it was exciting to watch them, especially them going into the playoffs. I know Daniel was probably pretty happy with that. Yamar smashed. Besides that, we had the goal scorers, the MLS goal scorers that usually scored. So at forwards, most of the forwards did pretty well this weekend. So it was probably midfielders that let you down.
Jesus Ferreira also let me down. I mean, 50, but
he gets a
matchup. Yeah, dude. The Seattle Sounders continue to cook defensively. Stephen Fry, baby, and Paul Rothrock doing the business. Houston Dynamo, while they have been incredibly strong, no Hector Herrera getting hurt when it really matters. Chris, can the Ben Olsens? What's going on over here? Are they going to be able to? Are they going to be able to get into the playoffs on a good run without Hector Herrera?
Well, they've already clinched a playoff spot, so we'll go with yes. They're going to make it into the playoffs. Now, can they do anything in the playoffs? No. Question mark. It's going to be tough for them because they're going to end up, you know, I would assume Portland can make up some grounds. Vancouver can make up some ground. They could end up in one of like 6, 7, 8 position. If they can hold on to 6 and get RSL, Colorado, Seattle, one of those guys, maybe they could make it a series. But like either of the LA teams, if they're the 7 or 8 or 9, it's not going to go well. So no, I don't think they're going to make a very deep run. I think they're probably a one and done team, but I mean, we'll have to see. It's kind of it's this time of year where you start to look at like how teams are doing, what the records are, who's hot, who's not, and that's what tells you who's really going to make deep runs in these playoffs.
No, I agree. And Seattle Sounders would be one of these teams. I'm not gonna lie. Yep. I've been picking up a little bit more Seattle. Picked up a Christian Roldan for $9, a rare Christian Roldan for $9, even though right now with the injuries without João Paulo, he's kind of moved back a little bit, which sucks. We want him close to goal to get those decisives, but hey, we have Rusnak who will continue not to get decisives. Has Rusnak been killing you as much as he's been killing me, Alex? Because
yeah, I can pull up what happened.
It's like 3 or 4 games now that he's just missed.
It was one of those weekends where I chose the wrong captain. Here it is. Yeah. Got my keeper going right now, but yeah, had some nice scores from everybody else besides him. And I only own him in rare. I don't have him in limited, so I haven't been getting any of those lineups killed, but could have been a lot better for sure. I would have won a reward if they would have kept this clean sheet, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, Rusnak's run has been, 60 is all right, but he was hitting those like 70 pluses for a good stretch, and so it's calmed down. It's been not the best.
Yep. And it's been all like missed penalties off the crossbar.
Yep.
Just nothing but nonsense. Like it's just almost there, and then you just watch those podiums, watch those rewards slip away, and you hate to see it. Hate to see it. Oh, Daniel Brubaker stopping by for a moment to see if Chris would play a tiny violin for him and his FC Dallas.
It's okay because Dallas isn't officially eliminated yet. They're only 8 points back with 3 games to go. So they just need to win out and have Portland lose out. That's all. They're still kicking.
Yeah, dude. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, tough scenes though. Tough scenes for Dallas. It's been a long season. They've had so many injuries and like fits and starts and everything. And then they've just hit teams at the wrong time. Like you just hit Orlando at a time where Orlando's white hot. Nothing you can do about it, really. It's tough when you get Orlando, LAFC, RSL. Getting 3 points out of those is not bad, but unfortunately, just not anywhere near what they needed to do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that'll pretty much be curtains on Dallas here.
Which sucks because look, I'm not gonna lie, and we'll talk about it since Daniel brought it up. We'll talk about Orlando City 3, Dallas 1. Sucks to suck. Haha. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, it was a game where Orlando City basically dominated the whole game. We looked good. Nico Ladero just conceding a stupid penalty late in the game to give him hope. But I will say, once they scored that first one for like the last 25-ish minutes of the game or so, FC Dallas looked really dangerous to the point where it was like, if they would have done that the entire game, this result could have been completely different. They were dangerous. They were making me sweat. Boy, I will tell you, they had a goal called off too. So they were just using that speed. Jesus Ferreira, Musa, all that. They were just having no problem running around Janssen and Schlegel. And I've been saying it for weeks, man. This FC Dallas team, like ever since they fired their coach, things have looked different. Things have looked better. They have everybody back with the Velasco and everything. But it's just a little too late, which you kind of hate to see. So I will say, hey, Dallas looked all right. Next year, they are one of my teams high on my list of thinking of scooping up next season. But congratulations to the boys, Orlando City. If it wasn't for that conceding that clean sheet, and when Duncan McGuire came on the field off a recycled corner, Janssen was up and then squared a perfect ball to McGuire, and McGuire kicked it right at the keeper. But that probably would have given me my first podium. To be honest, I was stoked. I was sweating. I never really look at my scores, and I was looking tonight, and I was like, "Oh, this is it, baby!" And yeah, of course, last minute, Nico Ladero off the bench, ruining my life. Ugh, you hate to see it. But
Can we stick on this theme in this game here and talk a little bit about Orlando heading into the playoffs, because they are white hot right now. They're in a very nice position to get either 4th or 5th, which sets them up for a nice little date in the second round with Miami, should they move forward. Is Orlando a dark horse, Alex? Like Facu Torres is a thing now.
Yeah, I think they're going to do well in the playoffs.
Can they beat Miami?
No one can. That's in the East. That's the thing.
Do you know who has not lost to Miami lately?
West,
Charlotte, New York City, and Atlanta all tied the last 3 games with Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miami has looked like they've struggled a bit, but then again, just look at who's on the team. Like, look at the guys that they have. They'll, once the playoff time comes around, they'll turn up for sure.
I mean, the second round is just a one-off game, though. It just takes one mistake.
Yeah, but the thing is they don't lose at home. Like, you're talking about draws as them having a bad run.
Yeah, but they can just draw and lose a penalty shootout. They have Schlegel on their team, my guy.
That is true, but I don't think Miami would lose a penalty shootout. They have like 5 guys who can take penalties, who would be a penalty taker on like most MLS teams.
But they don't have Schlegel in goal.
I'm trying to think. They might start him. They might start him that game just to have a goalie.
My logic is infutable on that one. No, I mean, obviously they do really well at home. They don't really have like a particularly great home record as opposed to away record. They're 10-2-4 at home, 9-2-4 away. So like, there's really not a huge home field advantage for Miami, which is kind of interesting. And Orlando is actually a little better on the road. So if there is a team that can go to Miami, it's a hot Orlando team. Everything's clicking. It's this time of year. I don't know. I'm starting to ride the train a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how things go.
Let's go. Just hype me up so that you could all point and laugh when I'm down, when we crash out of the first round to whoever the hell. Charlotte. Watch, we're gonna end up playing Charlotte, and they're just gonna whoop us out of the water.
Right now, it's one of the 2 New York teams, but we'll see. Which
isn't helping, giving me hope because that team is bad. But let's talk about it since you brought it up too. This is what the people want to hear about. They want to hear about Lionel Messi and how they couldn't take down Christian Kalina and Charlotte FC. This is a weird game. Messi got on the ball a lot, and if you watch a lot of his shots, they were just weak. They were just bad shots, a lot of bad misses. A little sloppy. There's a lot of chatter, Alex. Since we've been kind of watching, you have like 6 Messis in your gallery.
Something like that.
Is Messi the problem in this Miami team? Because since Messi's been back, they haven't been able to win. They won the summer. They took down everybody that was in front of them. But as soon as Messi comes back, I don't know, man.
He also scored their 1 goal. So, or they only scored 1, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that he's quote unquote hogging the ball and trying to do a bunch of stuff, but it's like if you had Messi on your team, you'd let him hog the ball. I think everybody would. So he's coming off of injury, so he's gonna be a little bit rusty. But for his rusty being a 90, like, he's got a few more games to get into shape. He's got international break, which we'll see if he's gonna start those games or not. But he's gonna have to go over to Argentina coming up before this starts. I think he'll be ready to go whenever playoff time starts. I don't see this carrying on for that much longer where Miami struggle to score goals, because you have to think that Suarez is the negative benefit. I guess like he hasn't been benefiting from it. If you own him, you know that he's just getting like 48 off of AA alone and then not getting the decisive. So once he starts also scoring, we'll see that Miami team that we had at the beginning of the season. Yeah, smashed Orlando at the beginning.
Oh, come on. It always has to come back to that. You just had to throw it in there. You were doing so good.
That's the example.
Bob Flynn would say calendar is a problem. Chris, as a longtime calendar aficionado, is calendar the problem? Or is it just...
I mean, to be fair, I don't watch Inter Miami. I haven't watched a game they've played all year, so I don't know if he's gotten worse. You know, like, I don't know if he might have gotten worse, but when I was watching him, he was an incredible shot stopper, kind of in the pre-Messi, just pre-Messi era. So I don't know. I haven't watched. I haven't really seen a lot. I have noticed that my calendar doesn't really score very well most of the time. My guess is that they have such an ancient team that they don't play any defense in front of him, and so he gets put into bad spots 90% of the time, and it's probably not really his fault. But I haven't really watched, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question, but
I mean, look, man, you have Jordi Alba back there. You have Busquets with 102 clearances off the line.
Alba had 100. Oh, I thought you said Alba did. Okay, thank you.
No. Busquets did. No.
I didn't start Alba in high prio, so I would have been disappointed.
Dude, Alba's one of the best MLS defenders you could run right now. If it's
I ran Wagner and he got 100. So
okay, fair.
We'll be okay.
But yeah, Busquets is a cent back, man. I feel like he's almost been scoring better as a center back. He's been a lockdown defender there all season, and hey, it's working out, man. You put a bunch of speed up front, and then you just have Busquets to put out the fires in the back.
When he doesn't have to run anywhere, like when he's playing the midfield, he has to run so much more. And so, like, when he doesn't have to run, he can just control the game from the back, and it's not fair sometimes. But I mean, I still think they have weakness. I don't think this is a done and dusted, like wrapped up MLS Cup playoffs at all. Like the Galaxy and Columbus are going to be real problems for them. And then, there's some other teams, Colorado, Seattle, Orlando, that definitely have chances to make a run and make things interesting. So as good as the talent level, like has the bar's been risen the last couple years with, all the Messis and the Giroux and everybody coming over. Everybody's rising with it. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens when we actually get into playoff time.
No, I agree. And dude, don't write the Charlotte team off, man. They played really well for a large chunk of this game. They were dangerous. They were creating chances. Obviously, the Charlotte way. They don't finish their chances a lot. They had a goal or two called back too, so they were creating chances. Malanda also very big, and Daniel does bring it up. Did Tim Ream actually play left back? He did. He did. I forget. There was some show that I was listening to. That they were talking about it too. That they've moved him out there, and I guess his versatility, his ability to just kind of move the ball forward, gives him a little bit different look, a little bit more dynamic. And hey, if he can work with the Bada on that side too, he could unlock something, man. Charlotte needs attacking. Obviously, defending isn't a problem. Privet and Malanda did just fine before Tim Ream got there. So hey, why not try something new, right? Might as well.
Yeah, so Charlotte is an interesting one as well. They've lost 7, or they've won one of their last 7 games, and it was against New England, I believe. So encouraging to get a draw in Miami. They also have Chicago, Montreal, and DC to finish the season, so they could get on a little bit of a run too. But they've obviously struggled before that, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get things going, because they got to really kickstart it like right now.
Yeah, but they just can't score, and
sometimes that's okay in the playoffs though. If the other team can't score, you don't lose a lot. So we'll see.
Oh, Samuel in the chat. It's funny to see all Miami fans in the MLS publications.
Yeah, it's been like that since he came over.
Plastic fans.
It's all the money. They make all the money from that.
Los plásticos. I love watching Messi in every single one of my commercials while I'm watching MLS. It's just so wonderful.
There's not enough.
Wait, they do make me want to eat a bunch of Lay's, though, I will say.
Oh, the Olays? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm constantly thinking about Lay's potato chips, damn it.
Exactly.
And I hate it. But let's move on here. And I'm talking that stupid the pink bozos down south. And let's talk about DC United, who took it to Columbus. They took it to Columbus. Benteke scored first. Benteke brace, getting it done. But they are no match for Cucho. The Cucho magic.
Dude, he's wild. He's
Lord.
stupid good. It's not fair. Benteke honestly should have had a hat trick. Had a couple, I'd assume 2 big chances missed, maybe more.
Oh, are we back? Are we back to the BCM King?
We got to check on the BCMs there.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Big chances missed.
Yeah, definitely should have had a hat trick in this game. He was getting set up left, right, and center. It's interesting to see DC and see if they can make a run at this thing, because their last few games are sort of manageable. Like you'd kind of be okay. At Nashville, at New England, Charlotte at home. So like not obviously not at home with all those games, but definitely got a chance to do some things and kind of sneak into the playoffs here. But it looks like Benteke's pretty safe to win the Golden Boot now. So we'll see.
Should be. Hope he does. I want to see that.
Yeah, that was my preseason pick. So we'll take those.
Was it really?
Ooh, I gotta pull those back up. It's been too long.
Yep.
Do we have them written down somewhere?
Yeah, I have them. I'm pretty sure some of us picked GG to win MVP, but we'll not.
Tables.
All right, I have him.
Yeah, Benteke is 3 up on Bouanga. So
okay.
And Arango's fallen off the face of the planet. Gazdag is going to do Gazdag things.
Okay, so for Golden Boot, Jorge, you had Lewis Morgan.
No, he didn't.
Trippin,
really? Golden Boot?
Trippin, Thomas, and I all had GG, and then you had Benteke.
Wow.
I don't need to say anything.
Oh God! And then
I'll just sign off.
This is bad.
We'll see y'all next year.
No.
We were a lot of us were right on the LA Galaxy offensive stack.
Yeah, Paintsville. Yeah. Delgado.
I went Delgado, which was a mistake, but
most overrated. Messi.
And no one said Peck.
Brett. What did I?
Well, Peck wasn't
down
minted,
here?
so I don't
Who did I
think he
say?
was. I don't think he was
most
available as an option.
Defensive stack.
Peck is going to catch Benteke for the Golden Boot. How far behind is he? There's only a couple more games. He's got to have a hat trick in one of these games.
Buy now, Christian Roldan, Yamane, Enzo Capetti.
Oh, rip.
Velasco, that wasn't too bad. I said sell Cucho because that was when the saga was happening where we didn't know what was going on. But
I sell Reynoso. Good call.
Yeah, and then Lennon. Forsberg was a good shout. Yule was a good shout.
Selling on Lennon was a good shout too.
Yeah, some of these aren't bad. This is the Aiden Moore shout for SO5. Lewis Morgan. Oh God, who said that? Thomas. Timothy Tillman.
You got me into the hype.
R.I.P. There you go. While we're kind of on this conversation real quick, we'll get it out of the way. Gabriel Peck will catch Benteke for the Golden Boot.
So he's got 13 goals, which puts him 8 behind with 3 games to play. I don't think so.
No, this is him. I don't know if he's referring to it, but I think he just bought a rare Peck.
Yeah. This is Bob being Bob.
Yeah. He was asking me about it, so I hope he did because it was between that and I recommended someone from European because I always do. But if he did that, that's
was
cool.
it La Liga?
No, it wasn't. It was Liga.
So you aren't even an expert in that league then.
There's not many U23
I will
forwards
say
from there that are extremely budget friendly.
Sure.
Whereas you're gonna have to splash a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Cucho.
Cucho will have a move out of MLS. There are going to be a lot of teams this one.
I don't know when.
Man. Cucho on 16 goals. Cucho just having one of those games easily in 2 games. Like he could pop off against Miami this midweek to prove a point because he's Cucho and just completely change this race. Because Buonga maybe Arango's
5 goals is a lot.
Who's right behind him? Oh, sorry.
Buonga's 3 goals back, and then there's a couple guys that are 4 goals back.
The one I can see is out of those, it'd be Suarez could get like
Suarez has 3 games left,
2 braces, and then a goal. But Benteke still
Buonga does have 4 games left.
I don't think
an extra game.
I think Benteke's got it because I think he's going to score 2 or 3 more this season.
And DC has good matchups coming up too.
Yeah, they got NYCFC. Wait, that's Nashville. They have
Nashville, New England, and Charlotte.
That's right. Yeah, good matchups.
Can you share my screen for a second? Can we say how annoying this is that they have 33 games here listed and they don't have the last freaking game showing here? Like, what is this?
Can you not scroll over?
Me off for weeks.
No, I don't think I can.
Well, it looks like you can because like you see
it doesn't let. I've tried.
Down? Yeah, that's dumb. That's stupid.
Yeah, I noticed that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was like, "Well, the form guide is ruined. They have ruined the
I
form
don't need
guide.
to know what happened week 1. Show me weeks 2 through 34, man. Like, come on."
No, I agree, but no, I mean, Daniel does bring up a good point. Do we think Cucho's gone next season? The way he's playing, just if you look at the goal and the assist from this game, just worldly, both of them. Yeah. Both of them are just out of this world. The assist to Russell Rowe, and then just the goal he made for himself. Like, this guy's just incredible. It is out of this world. And this Columbus Crew team, they're playing a bunch of games. They're rotating. They haven't played their first 11 in a while. It doesn't even matter. It does not even matter. They still managed to somehow get it done. Obviously, Benteke ruining the parade a little bit. But hey, they were just hanging out at the White House, so they were a little tired.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little tired.
Yeah. I think it's one of those Aiden Moore situations where he stays at the beginning of the year, out during the summer. Unless it's, if he goes back to La Liga, oof. Oh my God! Give me 5. Give me 5 of them. Give me 5.
We got experts right there.
Yeah, apparently, because he was at Mallorca before. He went to Watford before he went to Columbus. Pretty sure. I might have the order wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
I think so.
I can see him going to like a Betis, or Girona has a bunch of attackers they brought in, so I don't think he'd go there. But I can see him going to like a top half La Liga side, or going to like a I don't know if Bundesliga. I think it would be La Liga. I feel like that's where he would go back to if it's a top league. But
I do think he'll probably leave in the winter. I think somebody's going to look at the market and go like, how are we going to find somebody that we can get? Let him join this also.
please do. Oh my God, that's insane.
not
He
fair.
3x'd over the last 3 hours.
Yeah, that's wild. So yeah, I think he does leave over the winter because I think somebody will also want Wilfred Nancy, and once Nancy leaves, Cucho will leave as well. And then this will be back to a normal MLS team because like outside of those guys, there's not like Rossi is a good player, but he's not. He's like a top tier player, but he's not a superstar. And everybody else, Arfson's pretty good, you know. But like there's nobody else who's like really special. So when those two people leave, then Columbus will be mid-table again.
No,
which is just wild. Which is how this league works.
Mid-table. If Nancy leaves, yeah.
Nancy and Cucho leave.
Yeah, probably.
Which I think will happen in the winter.
I think they could survive Cucho leaving. Obviously, they wouldn't be a dominating team where like Cucho just bails them out of everything, right? But dude, there's a lot of talent on this team that Wilfred Nancy has found gold where he can, and it's a deep team. Like this team just rotates one slots in for another, and they play almost as well.
But depth is because of Nancy. Nancy has them in the right spots. Like none of the players individually are like, oh my God. Like it's not like LAFC who's bringing in superstar after superstar, or Galaxy who's bringing in superstar after superstar. Right. Like it's a little different.
We'll see what happens with the Messi effect, man. Teams are almost getting forced to spend right now because they're looking like fools here.
Almost everybody's forced to spend.
Yeah. Well, Columbus is not exactly Miami or LA, so City has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah. We'll see. But hey, the Wilfred Nancy effect is long lasting, even after he is gone, because Montreal says San Jose Earthquakes, worst team in the league, no problem. 3-0, because vintage Joseph Martinez is back. 2 Joseph Martinez goals in perfect fashion, 2 assists from Bryce Duke. Caden Clark is back and on the scene, having his resurgence. This Montreal Impact is doing the Wilfred Nancy way with Laurent Courtois.
What's the Montreal Impact?
The Montreal Impact.
Isn't it Club de Foot, or did they switch it back?
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that. It is. It's not CF Montreal. It's Montreal Impact. I didn't even realize that. So are data, or I guess would that be an Opta issue?
I don't know. I don't know whose problem it is.
But yeah, someone needs to fix that. It's not the Montreal Impact anymore. It's CF Montreal. But either way, man, this team is getting hot at the right time. They have a chance in the playoffs, Chris. They have a chance to squeeze into the playoffs.
I don't think so, but sure, why not?
Oh, they do.
I don't think so, just because I don't think they're good. Like I think it's a little bit of a mirage. Like they've played Charlotte at home, which Charlotte away from Charlotte is not the greatest team in the world. And then they drew New England, and then they beat Chicago and San Jose at home. Like that's the 2 easiest games of the entire season.
And they won.
Now they're going to Atlanta, to Charlotte, and then their last game is I have to freaking pull up because MLS is stupid.
Because the form guide does not work. Obviously, and we're not having the conversation about Montreal this year. We're having the conversation about Montreal next year. We're like, look, they're adopting the Wilfred Nancy system. It's a Wilfred Nancy assistant,
but they don't have Wilfred Nancy.
Yeah, but they have his ideas. Okay, they have his play. They have a copy of the playbook.
His ideas had them lose 5-0 to New England a few weeks ago. Like, this is not like these games happened like less than a month ago. You know. It's not that a little more than a month ago.
You just said it's the teams that get hot at the right time for the playoffs.
But they're not hot. They're playing Chicago and San Jose. Like everybody should be beating those teams.
So is Orlando. We've only beat like one team above the playoff line. It's fine. No big deal. We won't talk about that.
I haven't looked at Orlando, who they beat.
You'd be saying the same thing if you looked at our schedule. I'm just saying.
Dallas lost to Columbus, beat Charlotte, beat New England, beat Nashville, beat Nashville, beat New England, beat DC, beat Toronto. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is a
Skip
lot
over
of
that loss to SKC too.
lower league teams.
That's gonna be the decider. That's gonna not get you guys a home spot.
Hey, let's be real. That losing 3-0 to SKC could have turned our season around. Okay, like just losing to them like that, losing to SKC like that, they're the reason why we're going to win MLS Cup. I'm just saying.
Because it's a big win against a big team, right?
Yes. Caden Clark is cooking. Montreal Impact. They're kind of back, but not really. It'll be an interesting team to see next season. It'd be interesting to see what they do in the winter. Chris, the MLS card guy, is not a believer. Whatever, bro.
They have collected all of the greatest hits of like the dudes that were supposed to be amazing and are not like they're a great MLS 2019 team, you know?
Yeah, and they're going to be great in 2025.
Joseph Martinez, Marshall Ruddy, Caden Clark, like imagine having all these guys like a couple years ago.
So I will say, I did some writing about Montreal last week. This is 2 games in a row that Bryce Duke has smashed. Joseph has scored 3 goals in 2 games, I believe. Caden Clark has had 3 goal contributions in the last 2 games. So, like, if you have Montreal stacks
against Chicago and San Jose,
I'm saying if you've had Montreal stacks these last 2 games, you're probably pretty happy.
Sell them now.
Well, the season's almost.
Well, no one's buying them now.
No point. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Sell them now. Sell them now.
Sell them now. You could probably sell your entire Montreal stack. Put $10 into your account and buy a Lo Celso. That's what I recommend.
No, what you do is you sell all your Montreal guys now, and then you save that money for next season, and then buy an in-season Montreal stack.
You just buy a rare
don't
stack.
Do that.
Now.
Just kidding. Don't do that.
Do not do that.
No, this is not financial advice.
This is financial advice. Don't do that. Don't do what he just said.
Also, I have the worst spot next week, and this is my La Liga 10 seconds. Next week, if for La Liga, my 2 of my 3 stacks that I have play against each other. So it did the thing. So I don't know what to do next week. Just run the stacks separate, and something will happen. It's just
somebody's got to do well. You know?
It's the MacBook, I think. I think that's why I got the special stuff.
I hate it here.
Can Chris do it? Chris, do you know about it? If you do like a thumbs up on this, it does balloons.
I don't believe you.
This thing hates me.
It just did it. Like while you're looking.
You literally just saw it on the screen. What do you mean? You know who I don't believe in though? I'm just kidding. I do believe in this team. Oh no, New England getting a dub because of Brandon Bye to Nashville. The Nashville team who is finding form couldn't get it done against this New England team who was just fighting on the field. Just a week before, they were literally fighting. They were.
Why are we even talking about this game? Both these teams are out, and nobody has Nashville and New England stacks except me.
I have
my New England stack did terrible because Carlos Hill didn't
see that
he clinched being out.
Clinched time with friends and family.
That's funny.
Rest in peace, Chicago dumpster fire. Yeah, both of these seasons are over. New England kind of cooked in this game. Oddly, just looking at these scores here, Arriaga, Ivacic,
Carlos Hill, Ivacic and Arriaga did combine to give me one of my, I think maybe my highest rare score ever, along with Benteke.
Yeah, I saw you're in for a tier 2.
Yeah,
because I have the watch list, which I don't know. We can post that or whatever.
To be fair, this game did matter to me, but like no one else on the planet should this have mattered to. You know,
yeah, literally nobody was running that.
Nobody.
Wow, good for you, buddy. Look at you go. We win things on this show.
Sometimes
we win. I'm winning like 3 classic cards this week. What? Classic's not dead. Classic is not dead. But yeah, this Nashville team dead. New England. Dead. We won't spend too much time on it. But Walker Zimmerman, though, for the last couple games, his in-season limited is only like $2-3. He should get you some good scores for like the rest of the season. And yes. if they do sneak into the playoffs, it's an extra like 2 or 3 games. So
yeah, he's been on a heater.
If they sneak into the playoffs, it'll be the 8-9 games. So it'll be 1 extra game before they get bounced by whoever they play.
Well, it would probably
you think they're gonna get bounced?
Probably be like Nashville or Montreal or Nashville or Atlanta.
Well, right now Philly is the 8th seed.
Oh, Philly! That's
right.
They have an extra game.
They'll get bounced.
Yeah, it's either like Philly or Toronto or Montreal or maybe one of Atlanta, DC. But DC and Nashville play each other, so they can't both make it. There's no way they're both picking up that many points.
Okay, it might be Philly and Montreal, man. Y'all writing Montreal out, but it might be Philly and Montreal in that play-in.
No chance.
We'll see.
No chance. No chance. DC.
Let's-
Philly, DC.
That'd be like the first time an MLS game is. There's only been one MLS game on, and I don't watch it.
There's been a few of those this season. I'm not gonna lie. This one, I almost wish I didn't see any of it. Because NYCFC just took it to the Red Bulls 5-1 just from the beginning of the game, from early on. They just pedaled to the metal, and it just never ended. Red Bull got one back, thinking it would do anything. It did not. New York City just continued to put on the pressure. Dude, Alonso Martinez, man, has been a revelation for this team. He is one of the greatest strikers, one of the most informed strikers in Major League Soccer. Who would know? No Santi, no problem. Both of these teams, which one's worse right now? Because both of these teams are just on a downward spiral.
Red Bulls, definitely Red Bulls.
Doesn't matter. They'll both get bounced in the first round. That's what New York teams do. NYC, maybe not. But like, I have a feeling NYC is going to play Orlando, and I think they'll get bounced in that game. So,
but Forsberg's back. This is
technically
going to change.
series.
This is going to change their season, right?
That's good AA. That's good AA.
7 a.m. bro. 32 minutes.
Yeah, no, the Red Bulls they're going to do their patented lose in the first round. Like there is not a team more synonymous with making the playoffs and then immediately being knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it is.
When's the last time New York didn't make the playoffs?
The Red Bulls. They had the Red Bulls have one of the longest streaks in professional sports right now for making the playoffs. They are 15 consecutive years they've made the playoffs. I think now
2009 was the last time they didn't.
So what? 15? Is that what I just said?
Yeah.
I will say I've been quietly running Alonso, Adrian, whatever you want to call him, Martinez, in like decent prio lineups, and I haven't had a bad week from him in a long time.
Yeah, he's been cooking.
He's been scoring really well. I pair him with either Santi or Maxi. This week it was Maxi. I had a podium shout for about 10 minutes, and then Sean John gave up that late goal. So that went down the drain. Would have been possible, but yeah, he's been really, really good. He doesn't really get great AA, but sometimes he does. Not usually though. He's just one of those guys where he's the striker that scores and he's in form, so it's good to have. I think he's still pretty cheap right now too. If you want him limited, I don't know what his rare is looking like. $25. Shit. That's not bad, but yeah, I mean. $350. You pair him up with Santi to end the season, who's also getting cheap because his form has basically been on AA, hasn't been getting the decisive. So
yeah, what's because they're all coming here.
I wouldn't recommend buying any MLS guys for the rest of the season unless they are going to make deep runs. But if you were to, I think that pair that you can literally get for like $7 combined is one of the better ones.
Honestly, I wouldn't even say to stay away from MLS because it's so cheap right now. That if you have like an in-season lineup that's like one or two pieces away, specifically in-season, classic, no. But if you're like one piece away from running like a smash in-season lineup, like you just snap by it. It's like $2-3 here, there, and it can win you some cash. So there are opportunities out there to take advantage of.
One more note on the Red Bulls. They've been a franchise for 28 seasons. They've made the playoffs 24 times, and in total, they have advanced 9 times overall.
Nice.
Like 9 times they've won playoff series. So like sometimes they've won 2 times. They've only won 2 times twice. They've got to one MLS Cup final and lost it. Otherwise, they've been knocked out in the first round the last 5 years, and have never won more than 2 series. Except for 2014 and 2008.
So you're telling me I should go bet on New York because they're due?
Oh
no, I'm telling you that this is really strong data, and this is gonna hold.
It's just gambler's fallacy.
Literally since 2003, they've only missed the playoffs 1 time, but they never do anything in the playoffs.
Hey, at least they get a participation trophy. Hey, look at you. You made the playoffs. Congratulations. You get to go on
Literally.
vacation 1 week after everybody else. Don't you worry about it. But
Get clinch spending time with friends and family. Yeah.
rough scenes for both New York teams who are struggling to find a little bit of anything. We'll see what happens when Santi's back. Obviously, NYCFC probably the better of these two, but either way, it ain't looking great. It is. Well, it would be looking great if Philadelphia Union could have held on to this lead. Who they've just been flying up the standings, much in the way of Orlando City. And it just wasn't enough. They let Saba do his thing. Brooks led into Saba. It's Saba time to ruin the clean sheet for me and probably others. And Philadelphia slip on the points when they need them most. They are fighting, like we just already talked about. They are fighting for those spots at the bottom.
To be fair, actually, this was a kind of a big draw. Like they couldn't lose this game because that would let Atlanta back in, and Atlanta's kind of dead now. 3 points back. It's going to be tough to catch 3 teams 3 points back, but yeah, I mean, definitely couldn't lose this game for Philly. Obviously, would like to get the 3 points, but should be fine either way. They have a game in hand on Toronto, and they're even with them. And then they've got Montreal, who I don't believe in at all. So I think Philly is the one on the inside track to at least get one of the 8 or 9 seed here.
Yeah, no, they definitely should. Obviously, dropping those 2 points to an Atlanta team who is just about dead sucks when you hate to see it. But yeah, dude, Guzan is an A8 monster. Guzan continues to put up incredible performances. I hate that I look at Guzan. I used to look at him and just be disgusted, but now I'm like, dang, it's such a smash. Like, I'm disgusted if I try not to play him. As much as I try to avoid it, it's just for some reason you just got to throw him out there. I don't know what it is.
You know, his career probably started after Alex was born, or like before Alex was born.
I don't think that's true.
Like, it's probably true. Like, it's right around the same time because he's like 40, 41, something like. He's been a keeper forever.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like when we were in Atlanta, we should have gone up to him and been like, "Hey, man, I was born after your career started. You've been playing
Chicago Fire Premier. Wow. South Carolina Gamecocks. Wow, I didn't know that.
Ew, I knew.
Oh, he was a Gamecock.
Disgusting.
Gross.
I knew I hated that guy.
You want to guess where he's born, or are you guys showing it on the screen? I can't tell.
No, we didn't put it up.
Guzan, he was born in Seattle.
Chris, what do you think?
I'm gonna guess like Georgia because he went to Carolina and he plays at Atlanta United now. That's his retirement home.
He's born in Illinois.
Ooh. Chicago?
No, Evergreen.
No.
Well, you did
Lame.
say Chicago Premier, which is should have known.
I tipped it.
Chicago.
Wow, Red or Dead, hoping for another Guzan season. Really?
I think it'll happen.
I remember like
genuinely.
3 years ago, we were like, "Oh, we got to sell Guzan because he's going to retire after the year." It's like, oh, 4 years later, still kicking.
I mean, we've seen what John Cohen is capable of, and it's not great. So might as well keep Guzan in while you find another replacement. Thomas, I was talking to Thomas the other day. He wants Atlanta to do something crazy and go out and spend huge on a keeper, bring in some giant world-class
On
name
a
for
keeper?
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, they got all this money to spend. Why not, man? Why not? Why not?
They are still starting Derek Williams, guys. Maybe we address that situation before we replace the ageless wonder that is.
We watched him
Atlanta.
die on the pitch and then played the next Wednesday right after that against Miami. Genuinely wild.
Bro, you got to get up for Miami, bro.
He's like, oh shit. He did the concussion test himself. He's like,
Bangs
I'm good.
on his head.
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, he is better than Cohen. So, hey, we might get another Guzan season. I think he's technically on contract for another year, I think. So,
I think he'll play again.
it is technically in the
think he'll
cards.
Remember, like a couple years ago, when a 38-year-old Guzan tore his ACL and was out for the year, and we are like, "Well, that's his career. Bye." And no,
That was just the beginning of his second career.
that was just the
comeback
beginning.
of the century. Yeah, needed a God's dog. Shout out to J-Vic, by the way. Shout out to J-Vic. True OG. But yeah, they got not having that God's dog decisive and a Ty Baribo stinker. Finally, Ty Baribo kind of quieting down a little bit, simmering down a little bit. You hate to see it. It was a rough game for Philly. But they've been in hot form recently. Obviously, the Kai 100. Let's go. And we move.
Harriel, too.
Yeah. Oh, Harry Golasso, by the way. I do want to throw out there. That was a wonderful goal from Harrio himself, outside of the box. Whew. You love to see it, but yeah, we'll see Philly. We'll probably see him in the play-in game. I have him pretty locked in to make the playoffs. I got my little Philly stack ready to go for the playoffs.
Can't wait till they go down to Miami. Can't wait for that.
Yeah. But hey, they're a fun team. They came back. The Philly of old is back, baby. That's all that matters. You know who else is back? Zach McMath. The Gavin Beavers Zach McMath saga continues. Just headaches after headaches after headaches. Real Salt Lake going up 2-0 away to Austin. They were up 2-0 in a perfect RSL fashion. Managed to blow the lead.
They should have subbed Gavin Beavers in. They should have subbed Gavin Beavers in, man.
Probably should have shoved it.
Whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, Driussi did a thing for once.
He did.
Genuinely insane. He's going to leave after the season.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the tweets and I don't know what platform it's on, but
that's a guarantee. Liga MX. I'm
all the social posts. He's fed up.
I'm copying 70 of them.
Yeah,
only $15.
Austin's season is about done. The Driussi vibes are bad. He's on his way out. Cascante, dude, crazy run on Diego Luna. He got it past the keeper. He was in on goal, and Cascante out of nowhere from behind him slides in and saves the ball, takes it off Diego Luna. Diego Luna continues to do Diego Luna things. It's either up or down. Either way, yeah, terrible result for RSL, who just continues to slide. The vibes are not the same. You lose Andres Gomez, and your team is cooked. And Chicho just hasn't been the same after that suspension. Alex, how are you feeling about this RSL team in the West?
Their attack has still had output, although it's been a lot less than it used to be.
Right.
I think that's mostly because of Chicho not doing much when he's on the pitch. But yeah, they're still higher up in the standings. They're probably going to get bounced quick, which is expected. They rotated for this game just a little bit. But yeah, I don't have much faith if Chicho hasn't scored in however many games it is. The fact that he's still like third in goal scoring, though, is showing how incredible he was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, well, he scored one pen since being back.
Yeah,
for RSL, they've beaten one playoff team, which is right here, Houston Dynamo. One team currently in the playoffs. That was July 4th, all the way back until May 19th. Since then, they've only beaten one playoff team this whole time, and that was a 3-2 win on July 4th against Houston. So, yeah, vibes are not good. Not at all.
Forget how good Cincinnati was in that run. Jeez.
Yeah, they went ham.
They did go ham. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch RSL. Like you all kind of said, they put themselves in such a good position early on that even though they're slipping, they're still hanging on. But yeah, it looks like an easy W. Whoever matches up against them in the playoffs. We will see if Chicho can find his form.
Maybe. To be fair, doesn't it always look like an easy W when you play RSL in the playoffs? Like every year we get in, they're like, they suck. They're gonna get bounced, and then they make a run to like the final, the Western Conference final. Like
I remember that.
They get outshot 23-0 against Seattle and still move on somehow.
RSL, the team that can register no shots on goal and still win a playoff game.
Period.
No shots.
I think it was no shots. Period. Yeah.
It didn't take a single shot in a playoff game.
In extra time, like 120 minutes, they had 0 shots and they moved on.
Their first shot on goal was a penalty kick.
Literally. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's the team they are, though. You never know. No, you never count them out.
Well, we'll see what happens.
And they'll be at home. More than likely, they'll be at home too. So
maybe. Talk about being at home. Being at home didn't do much for Cincinnati. Going down to LAFC 2-1 after LAFC won the Open Cup in the midweek. Great game. SKC took it to LA in the midweek, but it just wasn't enough. And Cincinnati
no, we did not.
Shh. I tried to.
We definitely did. We definitely did. Yep.
Give or take, so or another. Alex, how do you feel about this LAFC team? Who we've had questions about this team. They've had a rough run of form, losing finals. Yes, they've been losing finals. They've been losing games. They've been drawing games. They haven't been able to get results. It's been weird for LAFC. But this team, they're getting it done against Cincinnati, who was rested in the midweek. So what's going on here?
I mean, I've ran the LAFC stack all year, so maybe that's why I'm not as down on LAFC as you are. But yeah, I think they'll be good in the playoffs. They're a really good home team, and that helps. They've only lost like 2 or 3 games at home this season. And so, yeah, they rotated for this. They're basically their attack. They played Bogusz in midfield during the final. Brought on Giroud, he did something. Bouanga did something. Kai Kamara, legend. Although he sealed it against us, I still love him.
Open Cup legend.
Yeah, but yeah, LAFC should be good. They should be good in the playoffs, especially if they're gonna have to. They'll probably get home advantage for that first one. I don't know how far they fell in that little run that they had or not, but yeah, the AA is always there. They control games when they're at home. I don't see anything to worry too much about until they lose to Seattle, or until they beat Seattle and then lose to LA Galaxy.
So they're actually still in second.
Yeah.
Just because nobody has really caught them, but it is a kind of a pact. Like Houston in sixth is only 4 points behind. So there is still a little bit to play for these last few games of the season as far as seeding goes. So if LAFC ends up 2 and they get one of these teams towards the bottom and one of the teams probably that's not hot, that's going to really help their cause as well. But like Colorado, Seattle are definitely dangerous if they end up getting matched up there. Because of this form, right? LAFC hasn't really beaten anybody outside of Seattle in a while. Obviously, the Open Cup is nice. That'll give them a nice little boost. I think this game honestly says more about Cincinnati and kind of where they are, because I think you kind of see the ceiling. You kind of see the cracks that have formed when they've lost all these defenders for the year, and like
And they
their
just lost
back line,
another
like
one.
pull up that lineup again, because like that back line is just, it's not the same as it used to be.
And
you know?
Awaziem went out in the 34th minute, so they just
There's
lost
no-
another defender
There's
again.
there's
He's
no
doing really well, too.
Miazga. Like it's tough, man. They're so reliant on Lucho Acosta, and I mean, obviously everybody knows that, and they all try to shut down Lucho, and it's difficult, and that's where Luca Oriano gets so much space. But like, I don't know. I am a little bit worried about Cincinnati, to be honest, going into these playoffs. They've been a top 3 team for me the entire year, and now they're kind of fallen. They don't have that elite defense anymore, and that's what you need when you're a one-man show offensively. You need an elite defense to go along with it, and it's going to be scary for them. I think they are going to probably end up getting, like a Red Bulls in the first round, so they'll probably still be okay. But if they get Charlotte, that's actually kind of terrifying. Like I might actually pick Charlotte over Cincinnati in the first round. So yeah, I mean, I don't think vibes are very good. Also, their home record is atrocious. From what it was in the last few years to now 7-6-3 this year. That's embarrassing. Like 10-3-2 away is incredible. The best away team in the entire league. They have the most wins. But 7-6-3 at home is just absolutely wild. So, yeah, I mean, when you look at the form guide, it really tells their season, right? They started off pretty slow, and then were just absolutely white hot in the middle of the year, and now they have just fallen off a cliff. So that's why you don't pick your stacks in this time frame, because like LAFC is kind of the same way, Cincinnati's kind of the same way. These teams that got really hot in the middle of the year aren't necessarily, New York, same way, aren't necessarily the best teams going into the playoffs.
No, I agree. And yeah, poor Cincinnati, man. Their defensive woes just continue, just one after another. They're dropping like flies.
Injuries are tough.
Yeah, and it's just tough. They have a lot of question marks. And yeah, LAFC haven't been getting it done, but rotation, all this nonsense. We said the same thing about Columbus when they were going through their CONCACAF Champions Cup run. So you'll have it, but it is definitely more of a question of Cincinnati and what they'll be able to do. Hey, maybe they're I don't know. They might be an easy way out during the playoffs. Nice, easy little matchup if they can't get it together, which Lucho finally, this is two matches now where Lucho's getting it together, finally contributing again.
Yeah.
Luca Oriano, bangers only.
You're never going to want to play Cincinnati because they're so dangerous with Lucho, and they, theoretically, if they can lock down the defense, but like, you're kind of right. Like there might be more difficult options out there to face. even though it always terrifies you going up against Lucho. Like, there's no question.
Oh yeah. Alex, are you worried about Cincinnati too, or
The fact that Lucho's been having a little bit of a downfall since that little whatever it was with his foot and shenanigans of him being out, it makes me concerned, especially Sorare scoring wise, because although he was an elite scorer for however long it was, basically the entire time he's been here, you can go look at that AA. He's never really been that guy when it comes to like smash AA. But of course, I got on this train later than Jorge did, but I still think Luke Orellano is like one of the best scorers that you can have. And so I think if he still steps it up, they'll be okay. Their defense has been solid. They don't really they concede, but they don't really concede more than 2 a game. Right. So if their attack can pick it up and Lucho can get back into that form we saw him at the beginning of the season, they'll be elite. But for now, I think they're okay.
To be fair, Lucho has missed a lot of August and July. And in the last 4 games, they've tied with Columbus. They beat Minnesota. They tied with Nashville, which isn't great, and then lost to LAFC. So, like, you kind of see the signs when he's around still. You know, like, it's not all doom and gloom. Like, they're still terrifying to face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting in the playoffs. I think it's very matchup dependent with them. Like, they're gonna need a good matchup to get in there and start doing some stuff.
Oh yeah, and it was definitely just a case of getting Lucho kind of back in because it was just a weird like 2 months like in and out with injury, taking time off, Leagues Cup break, so it was just like a lot of nonsense for him to like get his feet like back out up from under him. And like in this game, it was weird. There was a lot of him and Luka trying to like combine in the middle, a lot of missed passes, like they just weren't reading each other on the field, weren't reading their movement. Like something was off where it just wasn't clicking on all cylinders. So there was flashes. They're just going through a rough patch, and like LAFC team, rotated or not, whatever it is. I mean, you have Buhanga and Giroud coming off the bench and obviously contributing to goals, which is you just can't really do anything about it. So, yeah, the question marks have been there all season for Cincinnati. It's just they're starting to pile up going into the playoffs, which is the worst time for them to appear and peek their little head. So it'll be an interesting thing to watch with this Cincinnati team.
I will say, I don't know if Daniel's still here or not, but I passed him in FPL this weekend. So take that as what Cole Palmer does to people.
If not, Daniel will be in. He'll watch it back. He's a loyal listener and a true OG. We'll have him on the show soon, coming up in the next international break. Wink, wink. Trivia night, baby. Let's go. Got that coming soon. Let's go. I don't even think you guys know about it. We got trivia night coming soon.
I got some questions. Don't worry. Tell me what you know about 2013 Sporting KC.
Well, back in the glory days, nothing like the team now. Nothing like the team that went down 3-0 to St. Louis City.
Let's not say nil. Steven Afrifa had a beautiful goal.
Okay, that was a beautiful goal. I forgot. Afrifa coming in clutch at the end. Beautiful wonder goal. This
was a great goal at the end of this training game when they were already down 3-0.
It was 2-0 whenever he scored.
Yeah. Lewin coming in. He's back. João Klaus looks good. Not for Sorare, but he looks good for this team. But hey, the biggest news in this game is Hartel. Hartel put up the stinker in this game with a 45.
If you're going to smash this fucking score, please. Oh, my God. That made me so mad.
Dude, you had him lined up, too, didn't you?
Yeah, show the lineup. I got a clean sheet today from the guy that I had in, too. I just eclipsed 400. Obviously, Suarez didn't do well either, but, like, come on. It's a reward if you get it decisive. That's a tier 3, possibly tier 2 if he scores.
3-1 against your rival, and he couldn't get it done.
Sell.
Sell, clearly a bum. Look at all these scores right here. Look at all these decisives, all these wonderful scores.
I'll blame
do it in a game that matters.
I'm blaming Daniel because he bought him and he's been bad ever since. It's the reverse. It's the reverse Escandel, even though Escandel did keep a clean sheet this week.
That's true. But the real question JVic wants to know is Tommy okay? What happened? He limped off.
I didn't get to comment on this. So he got ruled. He got put on the injury report on Friday right after lock, and I was like, okay, let me look this up. I think we don't see him for the rest of the season.
Oh.
One, I don't think the injury is that great. There hasn't been much reporting, but I dug a little bit and I found that it's not looking great. It's something he's dealt with before. And 2, there's no point to risk him. 0 point to risk him. It's better to play our guys and see what they can do. I assume we'll just throw Polito at the 10 next game, and run Agata up top. It's what we've done in the past. But yeah, I would probably just run Voltaire or Jake Davis as your midfield if you still, for some reason, have a Sporting stack. And
why do we need to see what these guys can do? Aren't we selling them all at the end of the season anyway?
I was going to say, you got to keep that transfer market value up for Tommy.
Sell.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Sell or buy low. I'm just kidding. Sell. Or just don't.
Sell or use it as a giveaway. That's what I say.
Not my 1 of 100 Tommy.
But hey, Jake Davis getting the assist too. We've all been talking high on Jake Davis. One of the few bright spots. There's like Agata, Afrifa, Vargas, and Davis. Those are the bright spots in the Sporting Kansas City future. Oh, and Polito, because they already paid him a bunch.
And definitely not Poolscamp. Look at his scores. Genuinely look like, I think he's averaging below Melia.
Which is hard to do.
That's hard.
It's difficult.
Oh, man. Just this year alone. Oh, not great, Chief. 10, 37, 12, 16, 31. Oh, there's a little 50. You only lost by 1 to Sporting Kansas.
So wait, he had positive AA once this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he had one here.
Someone asked me on Twitter whether they think Amelia will stay or not. I think my position currently, and I said this before the game, and I still think after. I think that he'll resign for another year.
Another year, Amelia, huh?
Just because, although Poolscamp is our keeper for the future, the performances don't show that.
Does that change if and when they fire Peter Vermees at the end of the year?
I don't think they will fire Peter Vermees at the end of the year.
Does he have tenure or something? Like,
he has a huge contract that he just signed.
Will they fire Peter Vermees from one of his jobs?
Yes. Well, they.
That's what I see. I think I see the sporting director role. I think I see him maybe getting shifted out of that. Yeah, through 2028.
That's insane.
It's a long time. It's a lot of money too. They already put out press releases at the beginning of the season when people were extremely mad that they weren't going to fire him and that it was a 2-year plan of spending the most money that we've ever spent. We thought that was going to start during the summer. We signed one guy who hasn't touched the field once due to injury.
Wasn't it a 3-window rebuild or something like that?
Yeah, so
what we're saying is we're going to get a large transfer market this offseason.
One would assume. Now, do I believe that? Fuck no. Do they believe that it's going to happen? Probably not. But they said it was, so let's find out.
We'll see.
It'll be interesting because now the more time goes and the more that time goes that we're not extending people, really makes me question what's going to happen because like we were focused on Open Cup. It was sort of forget about the contract situations and all that. Open Cup, shiny trophy. Now we don't have it. Now it's back to okay. What are we going to do now? Like, what's our plan? So I really don't know. For now, we're just vibing.
Sucks.
Can I just say how much I hate the sporting director, head coach role?
Yeah,
like
it's
the fact
so weird.
That's the thing.
Well, it's
like Chicago's trying to do that with Berhalter, and it's just like
his technical director. That's what he's been. So,
you can't have 2 jobs. There's a reason these jobs are separate. You need to be doing other things at the same time. Like you can't put all your time into one thing or the other. You know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, word on the street is that it's going away, so that's a good thing. But
yes,
should. It's never worked.
I want to see a signing. One single signing is all I ask for. I know we're probably going to do more than that. Resign Russell, resign Agata, resign
Jake Davis.
Voladair. No, Voladaire's going to leave. I think. No, Jake Davis just signed one. I'm pretty sure. If not, he's through next year. Just re-sign those guys that have done well this season. Go out, buy one pretty big signing, another 2, 3, 4 role players to fill everything else in. that are either established MLS guys or guys that are decent in Europe.
I hear Sebastian Giovinco is available.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Here's Sebastian Driussi wants to leave his club.
Yeah, he's not going to stay in the MLS though. I don't think he likes it anymore. Yeah, Giovinco, it's time. No, sign Giovanni Lo Celso, please.
Just go get Oscar, bro.
If we had the money, we have the money. We almost signed Ronaldo. Don't forget about that. But,
that's right. That's right.
But yeah, I don't know. Sign just a name. We had Griezmann in our hands for about a year, and then LAFC signed.
The SKC depression is just flowing through the screen right now. Like
Yeah.
I can just feel the pain in your voice as you just.
But you know what? There's so much other good football that's happening that it's kind of like you can forget about it. Cole Palmer's going crazy. La Liga is super fun to watch, even though there's about to be international break, so it doesn't matter. PSV stacks aren't smashing as much as they used to. There's good pockets of stuff, so just focus on those. And when you bring it up, then I get depressed, but then I think about other stuff. Then we're fine.
We won't talk about how.
I will say also, I got to show this
3-1 anymore.
I had a nice little tweet that got reposted by Out of Context So Rare. Legendary lineup that was supposed to smash this weekend. So yeah.
Are you getting relegated? Do you know? Have you found out yet?
I don't know. I think
it'll be
Amelia came on late. Yeah. I tweeted it out. I added him. And yeah, that tweet took off just
Alex.
a little bit because it wasn't the best. But it's the thing I always do. I always throw in a SKC rare lineup in season because I don't really play in season. They got me to Div 3 just by playing them. So
there you go. If SKC can get you to Div 3, then anything is possible in So Rare. Just saying.
Yeah, and it's that thing where I play them so in case they smash, I don't get FOMO. Haven't won a reward with them this season, so the closest time was Orlando, but I captained Russell, and he was the one guy who didn't get decisive.
Let's go.
So
let's go.
Next year.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna scan. I'm gonna scan transfer market and find out who we're gonna buy.
All right. We got 3 games left. Let's run through them. Let's run through these. We saved the worst for last. So don't worry. We'll get through them quick. And y'all can get on with your Sunday afternoon. Shout out to everybody who's been here hanging out in the chat. That's right, JVic. Ban Kansas DMP stats.
I got to show this reply to my tweet. It's pretty good.
Ban them down. But yeah, shout out to anybody who's been listening. Anybody who listens to this afterwards. Anybody who's hanging out, who enjoys the silver in the States. Y'all rule, dudes.
This is a pretty good tweet that I got.
Starters get 0 team.
Starters should get 0 points. DMP should get 0 points. Subs should get scored as usual.
Yeah, and then of course I replied my dream competition because Shallowy came on, Russell came on. I don't know if Adembe came on. I stopped watching. I turned it off and watched the greatest college football game in recent time.
Oh no, you know it's bad when you turned off the game.
Yeah, and then I turned on Seattle because I'm like, all right, Rusnak, come on, podium time, decisive time.
Still let us down.
Nope.
What a shame. You want to know who else let me down? Freaking Toronto, who went up 1-0 thanks to Bernadeschi.
Is this that's right. Show? This is a
drawing the penalty, now? And then somehow you let the Chicago trash fire, the dumpster fire that is Chicago Fire. You let them get one late, and all of a sudden the clean sheet's gone, and it is rough scenes. Toronto just continuing to slip. The John Herdman vibes are over. Chris, how do you explain just the downfall of Toronto FC? Just John Herdman, the vibes.
They're still in a playoff spot. They're still in a playoff spot.
They're still holding on, but
they're holding on for dear life. And it may come down to them or Montreal, which could be fun. A little Canadian classique to get the last playoff spot. Even though they don't play each other, but we'll see. That was a game they needed to win though, real bad, because they have.
You could say that about all their last few remaining games. Oh, and Toronto FC, by the way, are the one lucky team that doesn't get to play on decision day. So their playoff dreams, they're
going to come down to somebody else, and they still have to play Miami. So they got Red Bulls in Miami left.
Yeah, RIP Toronto. It was fun. It was a fun season with Toronto. There was ups and downs. There were good vibes. There were bad vibes. There were cornrows. He just had it all. There were drones in the sky. It was just a crazy, crazy year for Toronto
Hey.
FC. But
Picked up Bernadeschi and Santi rare last week, preparing for this weekend. Both of them got decisives, didn't win anything. I will say, chat Red or Dead, getting that St. Pauli finally going. I still have an animated guy if you want him. I don't use him, so you can have him if you want. But I will say we'll give a quick shout out. We're going to talk about it. I don't know when, Tuesday, Wednesday, tomorrow, whatever. Shout out to ZM Star getting that podium.
oh, that's right. Yeah, our road to glory. Probably.
So he
probably
got a huge
Tuesday?
podium. After the show last time, me and him were talking, and I was trying to give him advice on who to buy, and we finally decided to go RB Leipzig. And last week they had a good matchup, 0-0. This week, as you can see, did well. So it'll be a little fun whatever on Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever we have that show, because we got a big card coming in.
That's right. Yeah. Probably Road to Glories happen to be on Tuesday afternoon. So if you're around Tuesday afternoons, our Road to Glory episode will go up. We'll open rewards, open some boxes, rip some essence with the boys, and obviously a big one coming in with ZM Star's Road to Glory himself. The whole show centered around him. Has got his first podium. So congratulations. Yeah, Red or Dead with the St. Pauli collection. Second St. Pauli collection. Yeah.
It makes me wonder why I don't take my own advice. Like, why didn't I go buy RB Leipzig stack? Like, he's won more than me in this time with this stuff.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's rough.
But I also love it for him.
I know, right? I'm happy for him, but it's like we were all talking, we were all scouting the same players. He was the only one that bought them all, and now he's sitting on a podium. So, yay. No, we're excited for him. Can't wait to open that later. And I'll wait. But yeah, that's the toughest thing Red or Dead brings up with the living and dying with your clubs and your teams. And like, it's great on So Rare. And then when it doesn't hit, like, it's like, I'm so glad Orlando City won 3-1, but the way it happened ruined my podium chances on So Rare. So it's like a little bittersweet. It's a little love-hate relationship, but we ball. Then my boys, 407, let's go. Yeah, I'm waiting for my jersey too. Come on, man. 4 years running limited #1 collector, and I still don't have a freaking Orlando City jersey. What the heck?
We'll get it. Trust. I think it just got lost in the mail.
Yeah, you're right. I don't update my address or anywhere, so the government can't find me. So how do I expect Sorare to find me?
Exactly.
Anyway, let's run through these games. Chris. Oh, Chris. I got to ask you something. Are you a fan? Kelvin Yeboah, the newest striker in Minnesota. Because,
Yeah.
Dear Lord, this man loves to score. Should have had a Hattie. Minnesota United finding life, finding a resurgence at the end of the season. Partially thanks to him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know from a So Rare perspective because he's not going to have a ton of AA. So he's going to be kind of a goal merchant. But I mean, overall, obviously a big boom. I think the biggest thing I like is Robert Lod has a lot more chances to actually convert some of these assists instead of just having people miss them all the time.
The Lodfather's back.
Yeah, the Lodfather is in good form. Hassani Dodson had a really good game too. So yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota's pretty decent team generally. Like, I don't understand why they've been so bad this year. But I mean, they're in the playoffs. Can they avoid the play-in game? It's going to be difficult to do because they're still a little bit behind. But they could theoretically catch Houston at this point. This was a big win for them, and I think it shows that they can hang with the playoff teams. Because I think Colorado's been in decent form. They've been a decent team. So, I mean, that was a big statement win, and that's the kind of team that you look for when these playoffs come around. Just takes a little run of form, and it takes one player coming in that can change the whole course. So, real life, yeah, he's been an absolute godsend for Minnesota. So Rare wise, don't think he's gonna win a bunch of podiums, but I think he's a very solid player for sure.
No. And Alex, how does it make you feel about Colorado? Who they've been up and down. Last week, huge win. Mihailovic, massive performances. And in this game, they just kind of fell apart against Minnesota, who's trying to find life. They just gave the life right to Minnesota. How do you feel about the result for Colorado?
I don't like it. I don't like how Mihailovic is drowning a little bit. He's just the decline is not it's not nice because he was. I mean, we're not too far removed of him getting 80s every game for that run. I also think Minnesota did well. I will also say Robin Lod. You were talking about plugging in guys. He's $6 rare right now. So if you need a midfielder for the end of the season,
Yeah, he's really cheap. Any AAs like.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy. I'll be putting him in my rare lineups for sure to end the season. But yeah, Colorado, they've had some good results. They've had some bad results. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of Colorado we see come playoff time because they are like fourth still, which is insane.
They're fourth. And
so, yeah.
big games coming up the next 2 weeks. Home against the Galaxy, home against Seattle. Huge for playoff seeding. Huge to see if they can hang with the kind of big dogs.
That's not good for Colorado.
These next 2 weeks are very important in Colorado.
Yeah.
And this is the standings, by the way.
So yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting because they get a result in one of those two. That'll show us what kind of team we're going to see.
Yeah, but crazy, good for Minnesota finding this form because just like the downfall, like starting off the year so well, and just like the fall from grace. I think they lost 10 in a row, something like that. They were another one of those teams that just went on an incredible tear of poor performance, and big statement win, like y'all said, against Colorado, a really good team as well, high up in the playoff standings. The Lodfather's back, Ladino himself, he's back for $6, a rare card. I might take a little stab.
Yeah, you got to
little
scoop that.
Rooney. I might scoop that up because he can hit it, like you said. Just having those pieces, even Bongi, not so much in this game, but he's been a lot better now too. So this Minnesota team is definitely on the come up, and a $6 rare Lod. That's
I already had one, and I went and got an in season because it was super cheap too. So
yeah, I don't know when I scooped mine back up, but I sold him for when he was like 45. Then he declined, and then I bought him back. He hasn't really moved much. He may have declined since then, but his scores have been good. So yeah,
it's pretty steady now towards the end of the season. Everything's kind of like leveling out. So
yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're one piece away, if you're just missing that one little piece, that's going to take your lineup, to that next level into a reward or a higher box. So for $6, man, you cannot go wrong.
That's right. I got the 69 out of 100. That's right.
Let's go. It's totally worth the premium.
Yeah, $14 was extremely good at the time.
Yeah. All right, this last game, then we can get the heck out of here. We got to talk about it since Chris, the MLS card guy, is here. We got to talk about Vancouver, his favorite team in the world.
Look who
Brian
scored.
White. Brian White is starting to go on his little goal scoring tear again after that concussion protocol. Still banging 60s, Chris. Still loves to bang those 60s, but hey, he is scoring. He is making it happen for this White Cap team. How excited are you, Chris?
See how long it takes to tell if he can tell if he's muted or not.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Oh my God. No, I had no idea. I could not be more excited about Brian White for sure. I cannot wait to see this team get into the playoffs and just go absolutely ham on somebody. I love the fighting Sartinis, and I love having the two lines where you can see whether he scored or not. And he always has 0 AA, and it's just did he score or not for 60-35. It's always a really fun graph to look at. But yeah, he's got 3 goals in a row. That makes Vancouver very, very dangerous in my opinion. They still do have a player who shall not be named later in goal. But outside of that, I think this team is a pretty good team, to be fair.
Not gonna lie, Bomer looked good in that Canadian Championship final.
Ooh, that's true.
Switch him, and then let Ranko Veselinovic go absolutely ham in front of him. Only a 23 in this game, so I don't know what the heck happened there. But Ranko is like one of the most underrated defenders in real life in the MLS.
Even so, I looked at him the other day because I sold him very early on in the season just because of my disdain for Takioka. And he's like quietly put up some really good scores for a defender in MLS.
Yeah, without scoring really, like without many goals or assists. So,
yeah, so it's been a good year for Veselinovic still. But yeah, I just have too many biases over this Vancouver Whitecaps team. But yeah, dude, Berhalter continues to be on his form too. He's kind of had a breakout season for Vancouver. Fafa, who was obviously quiet in this game, has had a good season too.
Sends shivers down my spine saying that name.
What, Fafa?
Berhalter.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah. Hey, Portland Timbers, man, getting a result without Evander. Evander suspended for this game. No Evander, no problem. Because when you have Moreno and J-Rod in this attack, hey, good luck to them. Both of these teams fighting for positioning in the West. I guess they both kind of would have preferred to win, but hey, 1 point, you take that.
What's Santi's price?
I don't think either team takes that, to be fair.
Ooh.
I think
Santi's price
they both
is
lost
getting really
today.
juicy, by the way.
Looks like I scooped the dip.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for next year at this point.
Yeah, I scooped up a rare. What did I get him at? Oh my god, show this. $19.
Yeah, you love that.
Join the Patreon.
Yeah, that Santi forward card is it's a nice one.
Even the midfielder, like here, we can show forward and
Is
we
it
can show midfielder. I mean, 3 less score for I got him for $19. Like,
yeah, the price difference is insane, to be honest.
it's about the same. So for scoring, like it was for last game. So I don't know.
That Portland attacking stack is fun. Do you have any Portland players, Chris?
Pretty heavy into Santi Moreno. That's really the only one. I have a few of them at the limited level, but yeah, I mean, obviously no defenders. I actually have a Kruppel, I think, but it hasn't really worked very well.
Do we have any news on Ryan Gauld, who went out with a knee injury? How bad is it? And are we RIP-ing?
Fairly got banged up in the final. I think this is more of a precautious thing. I don't see him being out for too long, if any length at all after this. I think this is sort of like we'll find out tomorrow when they practice sort of thing.
Yeah. And I just want to apologize because that's my fault. I picked up a Ryan Gauld in season, and I haven't been able to use him yet.
You've got to warn us about these things.
Yeah,
man.
you have to tell us.
Like, you need to tweet that. I think we should make a rule that Jorge has to tweet every purchase that he makes.
Can we create a bot that scoops whenever he buys anything and like tweets it?
That sells it. That sells all of our cards whenever he buys them.
That's also a good idea.
Yeah, that is my bad on the Gauld. I finally bought one, and he did not produce. Hey, but I bought a Kai, and he scored 100. So
that was a while after you bought him, though. It bounced out. Who'd you just buy?
I just
Kubo.
Oh, my rare Kubo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at my gallery, bro?
I'm trying to see if Dylan Barrero within the Minero kit. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, all those were a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm going too far. Now I'm getting to the Hector.
Yeah.
Is that Paintsel?
Yeah, that was a while ago too. Yeah, but hey, sorry y'all. Let's hit this Red or Dead question because this is a good one. Went in versus Jordan. See, that's the show. The people that watch the show know. As soon as I'm talking about buying something, y'all know to sell. just like the Jordan Morris that I sold at the beginning of the season. He's just been tearing face ever since. So it is literally inverse ETF for me. So just look at my gallery, set the notification when I buy something. Just make sure you sell. And when I sell, you buy. And that's the way you do it. That's how you're gonna be rich. But yeah, let's finish on this Red or Dead question. Who's the best keeper to have going into the playoffs as a cheap rare? So
you want to know this? I know exactly what I'm about to say. I know exactly what I'm about to say. You go ahead first, Chris.
You go first because I gotta find somebody.
Because I'm gonna pull up this list and I'm gonna know exactly who I'm gonna say. I
don't know the rare prices. I haven't looked at them, so we'll do this together. This will be a nice exercise for all of us.
Yeah. For me, it's right here. Although he's not, I guess. Oh, he's not. He
is the second most expensive goalkeeper.
We'll go down here. We'll go down here. Okay. I always say Clark. Two good matchups before the end of the year. Putting up A like he used to.
Stephen Fry.
Fry's always good too.
How much is Fry right now?
Where?
He is 44 is the 2-week average.
There he is, yeah. 44, so that's like that's not bad either. Fry's always good.
Rare. And I think Seattle's gonna have a good run in the playoffs, I think.
He's 37 actually on market.
Okay, yeah. That's good. That's what I'd say.
Honestly, I might actually take Drake Callender because I mean Miami's going to have a long run. He's only $47. He is capable of AA, and I feel like Miami doesn't really try much on defense in the regular season, and I think in the playoffs that will definitely change, and they'll have a little bit more effort. So I could see him being, a pretty decent option in the playoff race here. Another kind of shout if you want a real wild card. Zach McMath is $7.
No chance.
I don't know.
No chance.
I don't know, guys. Like, if I'm RSL, am I going to start my 18-year-old in the playoffs or my guy that I know is pretty solid?
Judging by how this season has gone, I don't even think he knows.
Isn't he 18 and pretty solid?
I mean, Beavers has been good, but so is McMath for the most part.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's $7.
Look, St. Louis won and got eliminated from the playoffs. Ha 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 ha. Ha, ha,
ha. We're only about the finer details on this show, okay? Yeah, no, when you're looking at the West table, I think, Crapo, Zach Steffen maybe, but that's like a wild shout. But yeah, I think Steve Clark, Stephen Fry.
Also pretty expensive. He's $7.
Takaoka?
No, get out here.
I almost got you.
So yeah, I'd go Steve Clark, Fry, and probably Hugo Lloris for the West, I think.
Kalina's only 63. His average is 50 though. Like, if you
Yeah.
can find the right
Period.
you can find the right option on Kalina.
They have to pull a home field advantage though.
Yeah, I just don't know how long they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in another world, I would say Celentano, but Cincinnati's just so many question marks with that.
He's also the third most expensive goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'd say.
What about Galese?
I was going to say, what about
Galese at
bro?
51? Ooh.
Just saying. Especially if we end up in the 4, what are we going to play? New York team?
Play Miami
Charlotte?
in the second round, though.
I mean, easy money. Dub City, baby. Dub City.
Yeah, easy money when you sell your cards right before they play them.
Shh, I would never sell my Orlando City cards.
Not talking about you. I'm talking about the 99%.
But yeah, Red or Dead. We'll continue to have that conversation more and more as these weeks go, as the seedings kind of solidify, which is not going to happen until decision day. But yeah, we'll keep having this conversation. Hopefully that helped a little bit. There's probably like 2 or 3 options on each side that you can kind of take the stab. But at this point, it's really just taking your gamble on who you think is going to go to the finals or who's going to have the longest run, which in MLS isn't always the easiest thing to do. But hey, we'll see. LAFC and Miami in the final. Final in Miami. Down the road. Let's go. It's the only thing I want.
Why LAFC in Miami? Why not the Galaxy?
At the end of the day,
the Galaxy just beat LAFC head to head.
Yeah.
And
their defense scares me, that's all.
It does.
Whose defense?
The
Galaxies. They're like Portland. Like Portland Galaxy, like they could outscore and beat anybody any day in the playoffs, but if they don't finish their chances, man, they will get them right back. So, yay,
speaking of Galaxy, go. John McCarthy's $33. That's not a bad one either.
Yeah, nope. That's rough. Yeah, no, thank you.
Deep run.
Yeah, it could be a deep run though, but it's gonna be a very painful deep run with no podiums.
And yeah, you'll be able to sell him for anything after,
because he's gonna concede like 1 or 2 for sure. But yeah, dude, that's it. Thanks y'all for showing up and hanging out and going over the weekend, looking at all the action as the playoffs. The playoffs are coming near. Shout out to everybody who is here watching this show. Yes, we're gonna have a Road to Glory probably tomorrow night, Tuesday night, but sometime this week, we'll have a Road to Glory. We'll open our rewards. We'll do all that fun stuff. There's a full slate of midweek. We might do a preview tomorrow if I can find some people for that. And then hey, we ball the content. We'll keep on flowing one way or another. Oh, and by the way, if you're here this late, for all you basketball hoop heads, sorry, in the States, basketball is on its way. We should have a show up next week too, or this week, I guess. It is Sunday. So this week, basketball show should be back as well. Who will be on there? I don't know yet, but hey, you'll see some faces you love to see. We'll talk about it. There's a lot to speculate. All that fancy news has been dropping, so that's exciting. A lot of cool stuff coming to the Silver NBA Street, so we'll get into all of that. JVic, you rule.
Can
Do
we
it.
can we say one thing before we head out here? Oh, that's so dumb.
Yes, Chris.
Good
Nope.
good luck to the Atlanta Braves tomorrow in their this is the craziest game scenario of all time. Like they have a rained out doubleheader from last week against the team that they're like facing to get into the playoffs. So they play 2 games. If they split the 2 games, then both teams get in. If one team wins both games, then the Diamondbacks get in and the winner gets in. So like it must really suck to be the Diamondbacks and need you literally don't care who wins the first game, but then you really care who wins the second game, which is just an odd scenario that'll never happen again. So
And that was
really
our
fun
baseball minute.
baseballs.
Yeah. All right. And that's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. No more baseball. Y'all are gross. We'll see you tomorrow or sometime this week. And